Yes, so let's start setting up a Kubernetes cluster. I'm planning to demonstrate to you a three-node Hadoop like Kubernetes cluster. So do become root. So this is a master machine that I'm going to actually use for Kubernetes. So I'll do kubectl kubectl get nodes. This will list out how many number of nodes that we have in our Kubernetes cluster. So basically, like I have already configured a two-node Kubernetes cluster. These nodes were previously called minions. So right now, the latest version of Kubernetes is what like we are using. It is 1.02. So with that said, like then we will actually move on to demonstrate like what are all the other things that we have. Basically, like I have few parts already available. So there is a part I'm going to show you. There is a simple part called I'll just this is a simple Nginx part. Nginx is a web server. So this is a Docker container image that we need to actually mention, and what is the pod name that we are planning to run. So that is something that we need to mention it under this YAML file. So under the name tag, and this should be of the kind called pod. So like we need to mention like what is the API version. So let's stick with the version 1 itself. So then like what we can actually do right now is we can actually say kube control kubectl get nodes to actually list out all the nodes are in working state. Can you notice like you can actually notice that the two nodes are available in ready state, they are not in pending state. In the initial stage of adding a node it would be in pending state, and it tells like how long this node or minions have been available to the cluster, the Kubernetes cluster. So now let's move on to run the command kubectl get parts. This will list out what are all the parts that we actually have. So basically, I have created a Nginx part, but like what I would do is like I'll also show you how to create a simple part. I'll just edit the same. I'll create another YAML file, or like I'll just edit the same one, and I want to actually create this part with the name called 33, or I'll just call it as big data training hyphen engine x hyphen part. So basically let's go ahead and save it. Or I can also give this, I can use the container name to be big data training dot in hyphen part. Let's go ahead and save it. So then like we need to actually now create our own part. So let's say kubectl create hyphen f, and we'll be giving this YAML file as a parameter. Go ahead and say enter. So yes, it says like the dart is not accepted. So let's go ahead back to this, and I'll just remove this dart in the name. That's right. Let's go ahead and save this, and just go ahead and say create. So it says like the kubectl command has actually told the part big data training nginx part has been created. Let's go ahead and do a kube get parts. Can you notice? So basically like once you actually quickly run this kubectl get parts, you can notice it would be in pending state, and now it says like one out of one part is available. So that's a perfect thing. So we have got the part up and running. So let's go ahead and understand what are all the information that we can gather from this part. So what you can do is kubectl describe this part. Let's just go ahead and say yeah, so describe part, and we need to actually tell what is a type. So the command goes like this: kubectl describe part space this part name. So this tells what is the name of this part, what is a namespace. In Kubernetes there is a concept called namespace. So what is the image that is actually something that we are using for this part, what are all the images we are using. It is Nginx Docker image, so that is pulled out from the official hub.docker.com. So that's your Docker hub. So and then it tells like when it was started, like it does not use any controller. So basically the concept called replication controllers will be learning later. So let me actually, in this part we have not defined any controller concept, or we have not yet created any replica. So that's fine. So once that is done, like you can actually notice what was a container ID. So something that you would actually know that in the back end of Kubernetes, like we are using the Docker engine. So let's go ahead back. Like I told you, there are two nodes I have. So let me go to this is one node and this is another node here. So you can notice, like I'll do a sudo su docker ps. Can you notice there is something called docker ps command that is listing out the actual containers running on this node? And here also I'll do a sudo su and say docker ps. Can you notice here also some containers are running? Since I'm running multiple parts, I am interested in the 692f, right? So let's go ahead and see where this part is created. And if you can notice, this part has got created in this 231 machine. So then we need to actually, can you notice this is a machine where this node, your Kubernetes will automatically choose any one of the nodes and start the pods, and based on like what is the configuration of the pod, it would be creating how many nodes and all of that, how many internal containers needed over here. So here you can notice it is 692f. Let's go ahead and see where your 692f is running. Correct? Can you see this? So basically your Kubernetes solves the purpose of Docker orchestration by gracefully starting anything. If you have your Kubernetes cluster, things are going to be very smooth. And in terms of like you want to set up your own enterprise grade Hadoop cluster, or like enterprise grade big data cluster, or enterprise grade services, or if you want to run your own Gmail service that needs to be 24x7 up and running, there are different techniques that we would be learning in Kubernetes called kube controller. There is something called replication controller. There is another way called exposing a service, which would actually create the load balancer for multiple services that we are going to run on the pod. And there is also something called Kubernetes Web UI. All these things we would be mastering everything on a hands-on basis. So right now, like we just created this part, right? So let's go ahead and actually see if this container has started. So again, so this is the one that we saw, right? So this is going to be actually running on this machine. So I'll just go ahead and say this is IP address. Let's do a curl. Just give an enter. So basically, in this IP address, this actual service that we have started has not started. So here, let's go ahead here and say net start as an MLTP. Basically, like this has actually not started the service, because whenever like we are actually defining the actual port, so s.yaml, here you can actually notice we have actually told the host port to be 8080. So what I should actually do is, let's do colon 8080. That's the place where like it is working perfect. So we got a part created and the part service is running on one of these nodes. So the later steps we would be seeing how to get started with creating the replication container, scaling up, scaling down, all those interesting areas we would also be seeing. I'll also quickly take you through how do we scale up. And you can actually notice I have another pod running. So can you notice like I have a part called nginx rc running. So what I would be doing is, there is a command called kubectl scale. So this is how like you do the Google scale or internet scale scaling. So I want to actually write, can you notice I currently have only 3 nginx nodes. I want that to be like 10 nodes, right? So what you can actually do is, you can actually tell I want to actually scale up to 10 nodes, and like we are telling the replication controller, and we are telling this is the part I need to scale up. So go ahead and say enter. So it says your nginx replication controller has got saved. So what is replication containers and all of this stuff we'll be seeing in detail during the training. So I would say like kubectl get controllers. Go ahead and say, can you notice this is one kube controller, cube replication controller, where which has a replicas to be 10, and this is how in matter of a second you would be able to scale up or down the Kubernetes cluster and your service, so that like if you're having handling like millions of requests which is actually beyond the expected ones, you can quickly say like you want to scale up. See there, so you can notice in your application controller the replicas as so, which means there are 15 instances of the service called nginx is running. So how do we verify that? You can just go ahead and say parts, this is where it is, and you can notice the same thing by running docker ps. These are all the parts. The parts are internally creating the nodes on your different machines. So this is how your actual Kubernetes works. This is a very quick introduction on this. Let's go ahead with the advanced topics in the very upcoming sessions. Thank you. Hey people, at Big Data Training we provide hands-on technology courses on the cutting edge technologies, basically focusing on primarily imparting skills to the participants. And since we are technical experts who have already worked on these technologies, solutions, and provided corporate consulting for like around like 120 corporates. So we are actually leaders in these domains, and our ranges of courses actually starts from right from big data to NoSQL to DevOps to mobile development to analytics, visualization, and we also actually deal with far other technology courses, and we are quite experts on the technology area. So to know yourself, please come down to our office at Chennai. You can actually get started with this. We also provide remote training sessions over online, or like we also provide corporate training sessions where like we can travel down to your city and we can start a batch. So get started. That is a very interesting learning solution that we also provide as part of the training. Thank you. You can reach us at any of these numbers. So basically like we are available over email here, or like you can give us a call at any of these numbers.